Let's crack on with the Tamiya CC02 build. Thanks for watching, guys, and as always, hit like, hit subscribe, and enjoy the video. Okay guys, so the first step is building, obviously going to be building the gears, and then obviously building the gearbox there. So that was steps 1 through to 7, and as you can see, that is our gearbox assembly. Okay guys, so that was step 8 in the manual, and that was just pretty much getting the lower half of the chassis, the battery box all connected. So that's what we did there, obviously, and that's just a little battery holder that goes on. And that was the chassis and these subframes. That's in there now. Let's line those bearings back up. There we go. So that's in there now. So the next step is we're going to put our little input gear in, and just need to put one more bearing on the back of that. So as I mentioned before, guys, I've upgraded from plastic bushings to the bearings for this kit. Again, I don't really understand why Tamiya can't include bearings in their kits, to be totally honest, but yeah, I'm sure they've got their reasons. So as you can see, that's gone together quite nicely there. Everything's greased up, and then all we need to do now is get the B1 part and put that together. Okay guys, so that's steps right up to step 24, sorry. So obviously we've got our chassis, got the engine in, got the front and rear frame rails done, and all of those steps there, that was just basically the front gearbox diff assembly, and obviously our steering links, and obviously our suspension links. Now I hope you enjoyed that more than I did, because you know, I guess this car just seems to be you know, it's quite well planned, and compared to the CC01 that I actually built, this car is completely out of this world compared to a CC01. And at this stage, you know, the car does seem like it should be quite a good sort of beginner to intermediate off-road crawler. The suspension, the chassis, very impressed, guys. So I'm going to get on with parts 25, 26, and right up through to steps 31, guys. It's basically exactly the same as what I just did, front diff assembly and adding all the suspension links and whatnot. So I'll go and do that one off camera. I'll show you a couple of pictures along the way. Okay guys, so I'm up to step 34, which is obviously where we're going to start to build our oil dampers. oil shocks are done, guys, we can start to attach it to the car. So this is step 35. So what we do is we just pop that down there onto our ball joint that was installed earlier on. We've got one of our screws and a little tiny spacer through the top of the shock, and it's telling us to pop that into the first position on the chassis here, so in the manual. So we will do that. Just need a little retaining nut on the back and a screwdriver. So it's got a little bit of a locking thing on the back of this. So that's obviously one of the shocks on the front there. We'll go ahead and pop another one on the other side. So again, that just clips onto there, guys. Bring the shock up through there, and we'll pop the nuts on the back of there and do that up. Okay, righto, so that is obviously the front, and as you can see there, we've got some very nice suspension travel and some pretty good angle, especially with the that 4-link suspension underneath there. That's come together quite nice. As you can see, the shocks are very soft there, guys. So I'll crack on. We'll get the back suspension on the car. Obviously that goes on exactly the same way as the front, because just clicks on again here, guys. And on the rear of the car, it's asking us to use the it's asking us to use the front one again. So that will go onto there. Again, we'll pop one of the retaining nuts onto there. Tighten all of that up. Oh, we've got the camera on, guys. I'll just pop the other one on. So again, that just pops straight onto our previous mounting point. And again, through there. And obviously after this, we'll be able to give you a good idea of the articulation of the rear suspension as well. So there you go, guys. So we've got our suspension on the rear. As you can see, we get some nice angle also on there. And it really brings that sort of rear 4-link suspension in front there and the rear. So that's good. Now, it did actually say in the manual to put some spacers into the rear suspension, so I will go ahead and do that. And it did also say to put them in the front. But I may just hang off a little bit, because obviously I do want the suspension on this car to be quite soft, so that we can still get a lot of that articulation there. So as you can see, guys, it's coming together quite nice. Very happy with how it's come together. And we'll get on to the next step, which is installing a servo. So steps 38 and 39 and 40, 41, not. So right, so all of the next steps all just basically radio gear. I may skip that just for the time being and crack on and get the wheels and tyres on, so that we can basically have like a finished rolling chassis. So I'll do that, guys, and I'll show you what it looks like. Mounting the wheels and tyres. So as you know, I did upgrade the wheels and tyres to the Rock Block soft wheels. So I'll show you the difference. So they're the standard CC02 tyres. As you can see, very hard and not a very good off-road tread. These are the other ones, as you can see, nice and soft. They're actually a bigger sidewall, and obviously probably got a bit better off-road tread. Now I've mounted one of them on to one of the wheels, and as you can see, and interestingly enough, in the manual it actually tells us not to glue the wheels and tyres on, so I'm not sure why, because every other car I built it usually tells you to glue them on. So I'll get the rest of these on and we'll get them onto the chassis and it'll pretty much be a nice rolling car. So hopefully you enjoyed watching today's video, guys. Hopefully it wasn't too long and I hope that you all stuck around. As you can see here, the car is complete. I did go ahead and put some electrics in the car. I just left it standard, the TVLE O2S that it comes with and the 540 motor. Now, as you can see, I put the lock diffs in it. You know, the suspension's quite soft there, and we ended up just putting a digital servo in there as well, guys. So as always, hit like, hit subscribe, check out my unboxing video if you haven't already seen that one, hit the link above. So that's it for the chassis, and obviously we upgraded the tyres. So the next video for this car, guys, will be looking at the body shell and the decals. Still a little bit undecided on what colour and what sort of, I'm probably thinking two-tone, the body a colour, the bumpers and the fenders black, and doing the body a bright colour just to make it pop, because I did see one online that looked quite nice like that. So far the build, I wouldn't say it's a beginner's build. Definitely required a few sort of more advanced sort of skills. There was a lot of parts, some sections like the metal part of the chassis rails reminded me a little bit of a Meccano set. I did make some mistakes along the way, put some things around the wrong way, but sorted it out pretty easily once I worked out what I'd done wrong and it didn't quite go together quite well. But yes, highly recommend the CC02, guys. It's much better than the CC01. And I'm really looking forward to getting the body done. So as always, guys, hit like, hit subscribe, and check out my other videos. We've got lots of other content coming. So until my next video, thank you very much.